Hello and welcome back to my Stardew Valley challenge run where I try to reach perfection as soon as the game lets me. Last week we completed the community center and finally reached Ginger Island, and today we'll be progressing further towards perfection. Monday, Fall 8 starts with us getting a club card. This is a continuation of one of the quests that we were doing last week. Eventually this will get us into the casino, which you'll see later in this video. We also have a massive harvest of cranberries, and I'm deciding to harvest them by hand. This method is a little bit more efficient compared to the iridium scythe when we consider in-game time. I also forgot to put a scarecrow here, so let's put one down now. We already lost one cranberry, don't want to lose more. Cranberries are kind of like blueberries in that they're mass harvest fruits, and they're best put in dehydrators so we can have a higher throughput and make them into artisan goods. Speaking of dehydrators, I've already prepared some dried wild plums, and I also have some pomegranate jelly from a preserves jar to give to our raccoon friends down south at the large stump. Our reward is the raccoon journal, which will increase our chances to find mixed seeds. Once we head into town, we can give out a few loved gifts, and at the special orders board we must choose aquatic over population because Robin's project does not give us a crafting recipe. Next we mosey over to Clint's, and he gives us our hat back, but we're going to give it right back so we can upgrade it to iridium as soon as possible. Next, I am using a predictor to get good items out of these geodes, like this banana sapling from a golden coconut. It's going to take a while for this to grow, but we're going to need it for perfection. I'm also going to go up to the mountain and pay a visit to Robin. I want to buy some wood, but my inventory is currently quite cluttered. I will throw away some trash, but I'm not going home with as much wood as I wanted to. Back in town, we just accepted a quest to deliver an eggplant to Gus. This one kind of makes sense, he might be cooking with it today. We get a few cutscenes too, like playing video games with Abigail, finding Pierre's secret stash, and seeing a little fight between Caroline and Abigail. Ultimately, we were just there to pick up some seeds for the polyculture achievement and perfection requirements. We don't really need to complete polyculture, it's just something I want to do. And up here, we're fishing for some salmon to complete that aquatic overpopulation special order. I already prepared some salmon bait using the bait maker. I'm fishing in this spot in particular on the off chance that we hook the angler while fishing for salmon. That doesn't happen, we finish the aquatic overpopulation quest without hooking the angler, but later on, without the salmon bait, we do, and it's a fairly easy catch. After hooking and catching the angler, Hanj is inspired to continue to fish. Last week, when we were completing some quests, we made it to the Witch's Swamp, and we didn't stop here to fish up the void salmon. We were on too tight a schedule. But today, in the evening, we have enough time, so we might as well stop in the Witch's Swamp once again and fish up 2 void salmon, just in case we need the second one. Fishing up 1 is necessary for perfection, and we can use the one we fished up for the missing bundle, so to be safe, we'll fish up 2 and keep 1 for ourselves. Now, as for what we're going to do with the angler, I think we're just going to smoke it, along with the mutant carp. These 2 legendary fish aren't as valuable as the legend and the crimson fish, which I put in fish ponds, and our angler and artisan professions are going to boost the value of those smoked fish just a little bit. In order to maximize all the time during our day, let's spend a little bit of time in the quarry and collect whatever raw materials have shown up in the last few weeks. Nothing too much, but it's nice to collect and we had nothing better to do. Fall 9 starts with a pretty sizable harvest of artichokes. Artichokes are a year 2 crop, but we can get them with mixed seeds, so I planted a whole bunch last week, and now we got our harvest. Additionally, we get a big harvest of oak resin, which means more kegs are on the horizon. Hanj completes a few more farm chores, like petting all of the animals and turning their animal produce into artisan goods. Next, we'll make it into town and accept a help wanted quest for Linus. Here, we have 8 hearts with Sam. This could be an eligible boyfriend candidate, but Hanj has a different idea, and it's basically just because I married Sam on my previous run, so I wanted something different this time. So we'll head on over to Marnie's ranch, give this gold star hot pepper to Shane, as well as a bouquet, and now he and Hanj are dating. Okay, now that's done, let's just do something else. Let's put down all those kegs in the bus stop, and fortunately Pam won't run those over. And for now we'll stick some wheat in there to make some beer. Unfortunately, Linus's blackberry basket is behind one of the kegs, and there's no way to get to it except for breaking the keg. I could have waited until the produce was ready, but we're gonna give Linus a catfish today, so we should just get the basket right now. Today happens to be a bookseller day, so we can buy Way of the Wind Part 2 and walk just a little bit more quickly. We have 2 prize tickets to redeem. We got one from Aquatic Overpopulation, and we just got one from Linus's Quest. I'm most excited for that Stardew tea that's coming up next. We still have the afternoon and evening to spend, and I think we'll spend it on Ginger Island. I'm getting a few more walnuts like the one on the beach, and the one after completing the gem bird puzzle. We haven't actually seen any of the birds, I'm just using the predictor for this one. Amusingly, we do actually pass by the ruby gem bird up in the island north, and before going into the volcano, we get a few more walnuts from around the island. Floor 1 gives us a treasure chest, not one of the rare ones, but this one will still have some nice loot. We get another golden coconut and a golden walnut. It's a little bit late, so I'm going to use the picture taking strategy to take a look at the floors outside of the game so I can prioritize the in-game time. The volcano gives us some other loot too. We tend to get a lot of coal, and we also have the +1 ore buff from the statue of the Dwarf King. We get some cinder shards, and there's a rare chest on floor 7, and this gives us a dragon tooth club. When using hammers, you can right-click to activate their special ability, and during the animation, any left clicks also strike the enemy. So we can basically just one-shot enemies, and this one dropped a mining monthly book, which we'll read for the mastery points. Earlier in the run, I said I wouldn't use this kind of club exploit, but it's just so fun and you deal so much damage, so I'm using it now. Here's a little update on our total money earned from the parrot egg and our iridium trash can. And now we can head off to bed. Fall 10 is a big farming day. We'll do the usual stuff like cranberries and dehydrators. We also got some ancient fruit, which I'll put in seed makers. I'm not too worried about getting 3 seeds from every ancient fruit anymore since we have a considerable amount already. At some point, I'm going to stop putting ancient fruit in the seed makers and into either kegs or preserves jars, but today's not the day. We'll do the usual animal artisan goods as well before heading into town. We'll quickly pick up a help wanted quest. Demetrius wants us to fish up some catfish. Kind of interesting that it's just been a lot of catfish this week. And we'll pick up a lot of pumpkin seeds from Pierre. We'll put some coffee beans in some new kegs, and we'll do the exact same thing with the pan. We'll pick it up and give it right back to Clint so he can upgrade it one more time. Clint can also open a lot more geodes for us again. First, from the golden coconut, we get a mango sapling. We also get a fossilized skull, which we'll give to Professor Snail on Ginger Island. And we open up a whole bunch more stuff. Nothing all too important. We're going to sell some of it, give some to Gunther, and we'll finish up by getting 2 treasure chests almost in a row. Turning in the golden mask to Gunther gives us a magic rock candy as a reward. This means we've donated 90 different items out of the total 95. After selling off some of the geode loot, we're going to harvest and replant a lot of pumpkins. Along the way, we get the final mastery level. This means whenever we please, we can go down to the mastery cave and pick up fishing mastery, the last one. All of these pumpkins are of course going to gold. We can either turn them into juice or pickles in kegs or preserves jars respectively. Now we have a little extra time and a bunch of inventory space to buy, I think, as much wood as we'll ever need for this run, but we can always come back if we need to. Now let's prep to go to Ginger Island. We get some fossilized ribs from this artifact spot. The ribs are another bone item for Professor Snail, and we spend the golden walnut to repair the beach resort. Let's plant some of those ancient seeds on the farm and crack open some of these muscle nodes along the beach. We get 3 walnuts, so I think we're actually done with these muscle nodes finally. And up near the mountain, we can give Leo a loved gift. Next, we make it to Professor Snail, and we give him a few bone items. Turning in the mummified bat gives us 1 golden walnut, and we make a little bit more progress on the large animal. At the forge, I'll combine some rings. I'm combining the hot Java ring with the burglar's ring, and the napalm ring with the iridium band. Let's also use a prismatic shard to get an enchantment on the hoe. I'm choosing the generous enchantment, and by choosing, I mean I'm using a predictor so I get enchantments that I want. As we traverse the volcano dungeon, I'm interested in getting some more cinder shards, some more coal, and also some dragon teeth on the floor. On floor 5, I noticed that I have 9 diamonds instead of the requisite 10 to buy a book from this dwarf, so we'll just move on, though luckily on the next floor we get that 10th diamond. And nearby there's a treasure chest. It drops a soul sapper ring. If we equipped it, we'd get a little bit of energy back when slaying monsters, and that's not really that useful. What's kind of useful is getting the Diamond Hunter book from this dwarf. It gives us a small chance to find diamonds when mining by hand. Interestingly, picking up this dragon tooth from the ground gives us 2 dragon teeth at once. This must mean that our gatherer profession procced right now because we got that double harvest. Up on floor 9, there's a rare chest, and this one gives us a hot Java ring. At this point, a little bit useless because we already have one. It's 1 AM and Hanj really should go to bed, but instead she'll hang out with some pirates. Because we have the pirate egg equipped, this pirate thinks we are a pirate and he gives us a mead. And we play some rounds of darts. The first one doesn't go all too well, but in the next 2 games, Hanj gets perfect scores each time. The typical strategy is just to aim for the 3 times spot in the 20 sector on the board, and following it up with a 1 at the end. After getting 1 more golden walnut in the corner, Hanj will go back home and sell off some goods, including the mead that we got from the pirate, and it looks like a little under half of our income from today is just coming from that starfruit jelly. Fall 11 starts with our typical farm chores. I'm dehydrating a few common mushrooms because the predictor says the raccoons will want that next week. Also, in our coop, I'm putting a lot more preserves jars in there, kind of cluttering the whole place up, to either put more starfruit or pumpkins in. Earlier I prepared some catfish bait, and we'll fish up 3 for a help wanted quest for Demetrius. Today's Jodi's birthday, so she'll get a gold quality rabbit's foot. I could have chosen a chocolate cake or a diamond, but we have the rabbit's feet for a reason, and the gold star does boost friendship a bit more. After chatting to Demetrius about the catfish we caught, we'll warp to the desert, and you know what, let's use that club card that we got from earlier in the video. It's very important that we call this guard a blockhead. I don't think we're actually going to go into the casino right now. I'd rather buy some things from Sandy, the deluxe speed grow, and the starfruit seeds, and spend more time in the Skull Cavern, though not before doing some trades at the Desert Trader, and importantly getting a magic rock candy as it's Thursday. I've been looking for a little bit of downtime, and this Skull Cavern montage provides that. I forgot to update y'all on the parrot egg in the trash can, so here are the new numbers updated as of last night. And as we're in the Skull Cavern right now, of course I'll give you one more update at the end of this day as well. In this particular Skull Cavern run, I'm running a little bit low on food. The thing is, I'm using the magic rock candy for a buff, so I don't want to eat spicy eels to heal myself. I'm subsisting on the catfish that we fished earlier in the day, as well as things we find in the Skull Cavern, like these life elixirs from the Ceridian bat, and maybe the occasional purple mushroom. A couple floors later, we make it down to floor 100, and the reward on this floor are rain totems. This is an incredibly useful item during spring year 1, and by this point, it's not all too useful. A few more floors down, slaying the Ceridian bat gives us a level 3 parrot egg, a direct upgrade to our level 2 parrot egg. I feel a little guilty swapping it out and trashing the level 2 parrot egg, but I'll just pretend that we upgraded our parrot instead of trashing it for a new one. I'm taking the time to slay the iridium bats I come across, not to make money off of them, though I did go way in depth on that topic in one of my math videos. Instead, I'm on the hunt for batteries right now. That's one item that Hanj lacks, and there really isn't a good way to get them because I can't force thunderstorms to happen. We finally get our first battery pack after 11 PM. I think this one's gonna go to an iridium sprinkler that we plunk on the Ginger Island farm. And it takes a little while longer, though we finally get a second battery from another iridium bat, and also the magic quiver, which isn't as useful as our parrot egg, but it's worth 600 gold in the iridium trash can. Speaking of, here are the updated numbers as promised, and now let's head off to bed. Friday Fall 12 starts with the usual farm chores. We get a few different crops in our nearby patch of soil, which we'll use for some perfection requirements like shipping and cooking. I'm also getting at least 15 of specific crops so I can get the polyculture achievement. Not necessary for perfection, of course, but I just want that gold star. Both in the barn and eventually at the bus stop, I'm going to be refilling all of our kegs with some pumpkins. Now, it is monetarily better to put starfruit in there, but we're running a little bit low. It's been a while since summer, and our first harvest from Ginger Island hasn't come through yet. Let's hop on over to Clint's to get some coal, or not, because, oh yeah, it's Friday, he's in the community center. I intended to give him and the dwarf a gift, so I guess it's just the dwarf. Now let's head on home so we can get a warp totem to go to the desert. I wanted to spend some time and money in the casino here to get some items that we need for perfection. I'm choosing to play Calico Jack to get the key coins, and the idea here is just that you can predict the outcomes using a Stardew predictor. I'm playing at the low bet table until I see a nice streak of wins on the predictor, and then I'm hitting double or nothing to double the coins to an astronomical amount. Really, all we need is the alien rare crow so we can get the deluxe scarecrow recipe in the mail later on. I will welcome the other items like the warp totems and the magnet bait, and while we're not wearing the pan as our hat, let's wear the top hat. And I just felt like firing off all of those fireworks. They don't sell for anything, so might as well use them. Back in Stardew Valley, we'll take a visit to Marty's ranch. Shane shows us his new blue chickens, which I guess we won't get since our coop is already maxed out, and the reason why we're here is just to give some amaranth to Marnie to finish that quest. We're actually making a stop at the traveling cart today. There's a winter rare crow and woodcutter's weeklies, which I would have loved to see back in episode 6. As our final task in the Cindersap Forest, let's go grab the 5th and final mastery, fishing. We get a new fishing pole in which we can equip 2 tackle, not just 1, and we get the opportunity to get golden treasure chests when fishing. Wheelie gets a catfish because why not, and Gus is at the resort today. I consider buying that Gold Star mango wine, but we do have wine in casks in our basement, so I decided not to. We do need to pick up that cooking recipe though for perfection. From 4 p.m. to basically midnight, we'll be preparing some more crops on our Ginger Island farm. I'm deciding to plant placeholder wheat for now because I don't want desynced starfruit harvests. The current starfruit gets a dose of deluxe speed grow, which will stay in the soil throughout the rest of the run, and the 2 batteries that we got from yesterday's Skull Cavern run helped us make 2 iridium sprinklers to accompany the many quality sprinklers that fill in the rest of the space. There's still a little bit of space left over, just in case I want to plant some taro roots. Next, we'll spend our golden walnuts on the mailbox and the Parrot Express, the latter of which will take us up to the forge, so we can upgrade our axe with the Swift enchantment, and the watering can with Bottomless. The crop fairy comes by, which desyncs our pumpkins, which is kind of annoying, but I think I'll have a good use for this open patch of soil in a couple of days. Fall 13 gives us some more fall crops, and we're almost done with the polyculture achievement. There are just a few spring crops that I just didn't get enough of earlier in the run, so I'm going to use some seed makers to propagate what we do have, so we have enough to sell 15 of each. A lot of our machines are ready, so the cranberries go in the dehydrators. We got a small harvest of starfruit from the greenhouse, but we can put them in the preserves jars. And the empty space in the greenhouse will be great for the seeds that we're getting from our seed makers right now. We'll go on down, say hi to our animals, and turn some of their products into artisan goods. Now that all of the seeds are ready in the seed makers, we can put them in the greenhouse, and there's enough space for everything except for the garlic. I'll figure out something for the garlic later. I intend to go to Ginger Island again, but let's stop in town for a few reasons. There's a help wanted quest requesting that we slay some rock crabs. Inside of Pierre's shop, there's Abigail. It's her birthday, so she gets a gold star pumpkin. And we'll go over to Clint's and pick up our iridium pan. Now that we have the pan back and it's fully upgraded, it is once again our hat. So I suppose the top hat will go to Peanut, and that's what he'll wear for a good chunk of the rest of the game. Back on Ginger Island, my first goal is to get even more deluxe speed grow in the ground. Yesterday we didn't DSG the wheat, and it's not necessary to grow the wheat quickly, it's just that I want that in the soil for when we get more starfruit in the ground. My second goal on Ginger Island is to fish. There are 5 golden walnuts that we could get from fishing, and I want to get those 5 today. We're making use of our fishing mastery in 2 ways. First of all, we get our first golden fishing treasure chest. It contains a shrimp cocktail and a dress spinner, Let's eat the food now, because the fishing buff is nice, and the luck buff will increase the chance that we find fishing treasure chests. The second way that we're utilizing our fishing mastery is by using the new fishing rod. In this one, we can equip 2 tackles, so I'm using 2 dressed spinners to make the fish bite even more quickly. Fishing in freshwater gave us the blue discus. Fishing over here in the Pirate's Cove lets us catch stingrays. And we can catch lionfish when we fish in the ocean. There are bubbles here, and we happen to get another golden treasure chest. This one has a fair amount of good loot. These golden fishing treasure chests are the key to get Stardrop Tea. We'll need a whole bunch to befriend Kent as soon as possible when he arrives next year. Once we fished up a fair amount of all the Ginger Island fish, let's head on over to the dig site. Here we get the option to use our iridium pan for the first time. I'm really hoping that we could get some items to turn into Professor Snail, but we don't get anything of note. After picking up the golden walnut and the pearl from the beach, let's fall asleep on Ginger Island. I want to start tomorrow on the island instead of back in the valley. Fall 14 schedule is super precise. We're starting the day by talking to the gourmand frog and showing him a melon, wheat, and garlic for 15 golden walnuts. These walnuts, combined with the ones we got from fishing yesterday, allow us to get into Mr. Key's walnut room, in which I'll accept Key's crop. It's quite an intensive quest, but I think the 100 key gems will be worth it. As gifting restrictions reset on Sundays, Leo gets a duck feather, a loved gift, and on the first floor of the volcano dungeon, we get 2 dragon teeth from lava lurks. As we progress further into the dungeon, we get more resources like cinder shards, coal, and dragon teeth. Because we picked up the Keys crop quest, we're also getting the occasional key bean, which we'll plant later today. Floor 7 treats us quite kindly. There are some dragon teeth on the floor, and by slaying this Dougie, we satisfy the monster eradication requirement for those. Once we get to floor 9, I completely bypass the treasure chest there because we're on a tight timeline. We reach the forge, and all of those cinder shards come in handy. We get 3 enchantments on our tools, Crusader on our weapon, Preserving on the fishing rod, and Archaeologist on the pan. After leaving the volcano, we get Leo's 2 heart event near our farm, and after we chit-chat with him and Willy, we spend 20 golden walnuts and repair the warp tower back to our farm. We get to Clint's before he closes at 4, some of the geodes contain some key beans, and we drop off another item in the museum. Back home, we put a tapper on our newly grown mystic tree, we start making some pickled pumpkins in the preserves jars, and you might notice a large field of cranberries that I forgot to harvest yesterday. Sam's 8 heart event kicks off some sick tunes that I'll do a little montage to. Later on, we're going to sell some goods and head on into the mines to try to complete 2 help wanted quests. I'm going to use pause buffering to save in-game time and the picture-taking strategy to find misaligned rocks, which are actually rock crabs. Alright, let's do this. Wonderful. We got the rock crabs before Demetrius went off to bed, and this cutscene counts as us talking to Lewis and turning in the quest about the sludges or red slimes. Unfortunately, Jody's house is closed, so we can't deliver a largemouth bass, and in the sewers, we can reset some of our professions. We'll get to pick the new ones when we go to bed. We get a few cutscenes tonight, like meeting Abigail in the graveyard and when her father comes by, hiding in a bush, doing our best Faker impression. That's a League of Legends reference for the uninitiated. In the saloon, we share a drink with Elliot and give Shane another hot pepper. Since I reset our farming profession, we don't have artisan anymore, so I'll be sticking artisan goods in this chest so we don't sell them at a reduced profit. It's also Sunday, so let's celebrate Staircase Sunday by quickly warping to the desert, grabbing our staircases, and heading home. At our farm, I didn't forget a second time to harvest the cranberries. Unfortunately, though, our 2 cranberry fields are desynced. After the cranberries, we'll chop down some trees and, ooh, a purple blouse. This matches the iridium pan, so I think this is our new shirt. And the whole point to chopping down these trees is to get the key beans so that we can plant them in this spot where the crop fairy grew those pumpkins. And that's about it. Thanks for coming along and enjoying this week of Stardew with me. Oh, and as we're going to bed, let's check on the professions. We're going to get agriculturalist for faster growing starfruit, prospector for more coal, and pirate so we get higher chances of those golden treasure chests. Here's a parrot's egg and the iridium trash can, and I'm all done. All right, bye.